Morning folks, how you guys doing? Braving the pouring rain for you this morning, but this is an important one, right? So as I've been mentioning in previous videos, we're in a little boom now in regards to the property market, but when the furlough schemes end in October and the recession starts to bite, things will change and more opportunities will emerge with property prices falling and people not really being in a position to buy due to the strain that's being placed on their personal finances right now. So the trick is, when that time comes, to be ready, right? And cash is king, and you need to be in a position that you can take advantage of all the opportunities that will present themselves where others can't. So now really is a time to be stockpiling. That's what I've been doing for a little while. So for those of you who aren't doing this, you really should be working your brain on how you can. And I thought I'd give you a few ideas as to how you might get your hands on a bit more cash so that you're ready for these deals when they really start presenting themselves. Big disclaimer here, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not making any recommendations, I'm just sharing with you a few ideas that you can think about just to get your brain working. So first of all, have a look at your existing portfolio, do a bit of analysis on your assets and maybe whether you could sell some of those. So I'll give you an example. I have one house that I'm currently renovating and I'm looking at selling. Reason being that the market's hot right now, maybe not for much longer, perhaps another 6 or 7 weeks, maybe a bit more. But whereas I had bought that property for 280 grand a few years ago and the return on investment for a time was really good because it was being run as an HMO, the property's now worth more in terms of capital. It's not operating as an HMO because of a change in regulation. The room sizes weren't sufficient, so it became a single let. And actually, what was giving maybe a 10 or 11% return on investment is now really just breaking even, like 1 or 2% at best. So although I have a bit of an emotional attachment to that property because it's been good to me over the years, the reality is it's not working well, and I'm better off selling it, realising cash that I can then go and put into another deal that's going to produce a higher return. So you might want to be looking at your existing portfolio and the assets that you have. Are they working hard enough for you? And if they aren't, maybe now's the right time to sell and put that money to work elsewhere. Equally, if you've got properties with high equity in them that are cash flowing well, that are doing well for you, perhaps you could look at further advances or remortgages in order to release cash from those. Perhaps you've got a property that's sitting at 50% loan to value right now and you could bring that up to 75% and use that extra cash to get it working and give you a higher return in other areas. That would be a really smart thing to do. And again, probably do it quickly because we're seeing a few down valuations already. Perhaps we're only going to see more as the banks are trying to de-risk their lending. So perhaps that means reducing loan to values, increasing interest rates maybe, or literally down valuing the property so they're less exposed. So if you want to do it, now's really the right time. Okay, so you've sold what you can sell, you've refinanced what you can refinance. Now let's have a look at a few other things. Perhaps there's friends and family that know what you're doing, they know you've been in property for a while, they know that it's working for you. Perhaps they're looking ahead to their own retirement and they're thinking, I'm not getting much money on my savings in the bank, my pension's not really working very hard for me. Perhaps they've got a bit of cash that they could put behind you, perhaps that they could release some money from their pension or their savings account because they know that there's a good wave coming in terms of property opportunities and the returns they can get in the property market are actually better than they're getting in the bank right now. So it could be worth having a chat with friends and family, let them know what you're doing. What have you got to lose, right? If they don't know you're doing it, they're never going to want to get behind it. So best to let people know what you're about and the things that you can offer them. And this was a big part of Simon's teachings. He's an excellent trainer, you guys. For those who haven't done his training, I have, and I can recommend it very highly. He talks about considering this as sharing an opportunity with people. You have an incredible set of skills here that you can utilise, that other people can benefit from. Let them know about it and see if they want to share in the journey a little bit. Other things that you can think about. Can you be raising money from institutions, right? So, for example, I pay, I think it's 15 quid a month or something like that, to be a member of Experian that monitors my credit each month, so I know where I'm at. That's particularly useful when it's coming up to mortgage applications and things like that, that my credit's in good shape. But what it'll also do is give you an indication of your likelihood of acceptance for borrowing against other facilities such as loans, secured or unsecured, perhaps credit cards, other things. Now use all these tools wisely, right, and think about what you're doing. But get yourself out there, have a look, see what's possible. If you know you've got a high likelihood of acceptance for unsecured lending up to, let's say, 25 or 50k at around 5 or 6% maybe, it's good to have that information to hand, right? You may or may not use it, but at least you know it's there. And you might say, well, if I can borrow money at 5% and I know I can go and do a deal that's going to give me closer to 15%, perhaps that's actually worth it, particularly given the discounts that are likely to be available. You want to be able to take advantage of those. Other things, I guess, come down to things like deal structure. Perhaps you can structure things in a way that rather than a traditional purchase, you can arrange something like a purchase lease option with the vendor, so that you go in, you guarantee the rent to them for a period of time with the option to buy it later at an attractive price. That just means that you've kind of got half a hand on the asset now, knowing that you can lock it in later at a guaranteed price and when you've got a bit more cash available. So that can be a good thing to be thinking about. Other friends of mine, disclaimer, I've never done this, but I know really friends of mine that I really respect have arranged deals to utilise vendor finance. Think of it a bit like a deferred payment where you pay some now and some later. Again, if you've got a limited amount of cash and you want to get a deal over the line, it can be a way to get it done without using less cash now, essentially. Look, there's many other ways. Perhaps you've got savings, perhaps you've got cash, perhaps you've got a pension of your own. There are experts within these communities now that are specialists in so many different areas. I don't understand pensions very well. I don't understand vendor finance very well. But I know that there's people that I can call upon to get professional expert advice from who are going to guide me through. And so what it might be good for you guys to do right now is get a pen and paper out, write down all the different things that you could be doing, all the different ideas to get your hands on cash to prepare for what's to come. And then just highlight the ones that you don't understand very well and put a name next to them, like who could help me understand this better. And if you don't know who that person is, just put something in the PIN community group saying, who do you know who is an expert on pensions or can advise on vendor finance? And you'll be amazed at the support that comes through, because that's what we're all here for. We're all here to help each other out. There's a lot of knowledge around. If you don't know something, acknowledge that you don't know it and seek advice. And you know, coming into 2021, as a result of this brainstorming and preparation that you do now, you could find yourself in a position to really take advantage of all the opportunities to start to present themselves. So, rattle through, because I respect your time. If you've got any other ideas, things that I've missed, comment below, share them. It's for the benefit of everyone to start getting themselves ready for the opportunities to come. And look, I wish you all a really good day, and I hope to speak to some of you soon. Bye for now.